Imagine the Parthenon glowing not with torchlight, but with fiber optic cables snaking through its marble columns. Picture Archimedes in his workshop, stylus in one hand, a laptop blueprint in the other, shouting, "Eureka!" He cracks the mathematics of high-speed data transmission. What if ancient Greece woke up with modern technology? No slow evolution, instant infusion, blueprints, materials, principles, silicon chips, steam turbines, fiber optics. Today we run the ultimate thought experiment. Archimedes' geometric brilliance versus fiber optics. The humble Antikythera mechanism evolving into a global supercomputer network. Steam-powered triremes slicing through the Aegean. Solar-focusing mirrors turning enemy fleets into floating bonfires. And bronze spears replaced by automated ballistae. This is the collision of Hellenistic philosophy and silicon circuitry, and it redefines civilization. Let's begin. It starts small. Around 450 BCE, a cache of modern technical knowledge appears. The Greeks don't just copy, they innovate. The Antikythera mechanism becomes the seed. Add silicon processors. Add fiber optic interconnects. Archimedes, calculating curves and inventing the compound pulley, sees the geometry instantly. He designs the first optical waveguides using the glass-blowing techniques already flourishing in Alexandria. By 300 BCE, the Library of Alexandria is no longer a warehouse of scrolls. It is a humming data center. Undersea fiber optic cables link Athens, Sparta, Corinth, and Rhodes at gigabit speeds. The Antikythera devices multiply and evolve, networked, upgraded with early transistors, running simulations of ideal republics, predicting harvests, modeling eclipses decades ahead. Plato's Academy runs virtual thought experiments on massive parallel computers. Aristotle's students collect real-time sensor data from across the Mediterranean. Democritus's atomic theory meets quantum mechanics 2,000 years early. And Archimedes? He doesn't just build levers and screws. He writes the mathematical foundation for optical networking. His famous death ray mirrors are upgraded with modern dielectric coatings and solar tracking algorithms. Whole hillsides become concentrated solar power plants feeding the grid. Steam engines, scaled from Hero's spinning Iolipili toy, drive water pumps, grain mills, and soon, warships. Greek rationalism meets Moore's law. Progress explodes. Now the real test, the Peloponnesian War, 431-404 BCE. In our timeline, 27 years of exhaustion. In this timeline, the war is over before most soldiers grow their first beards. Athens receives the tech edge first. Their triremes are no longer muscle-powered death traps. Compact steam turbines drive bronze propellers. Top speed, 1822 knots sustained. No rower fatigue. Crew reduced by 2/3. The ships carry armored marines, supply drones, and, most terrifying, banks of automated ballistae. These are not the old torsion catapults. Computer-controlled, servo-driven, with optical rangefinders. And Antikythera-derived targeting computers. They fire 30-kilogram bolts every 6 seconds with pinpoint accuracy. Bronze spears become ceremonial. Sparta's famed hoplite phalanx marches out, only to face scouting kites and tethered observation balloons, feeding live imagery back to command via fiber optic tethers. When the Spartan fleet tries to break the blockade at Pylos, Athenian solar mirror ships position at dawn. Hundreds of polished parabolic reflectors concentrate sunlight into beams hot enough to ignite sails and melt pitch. The sea battle of Naupactus, over in 40 minutes. Spartan triremes become floating torches. No disastrous Sicilian expedition. Athens models the entire campaign on supercomputer simulations and cancels it as a statistical catastrophe. By year 3, Sparta sues for peace. Athens dictates terms from a position of unchallenged technological supremacy. The Delian League becomes the world's first technocratic federation. Greece unifies 2 centuries ahead of schedule. No weakened city-states for Philip II to conquer. Alexander the Great inherits a steam-powered navy and networked intelligence service. The Hellenistic age begins with railroads instead of just roads. The ripple effects reshape everything. Democracy evolves. Citizens vote on networked tablets, results tallied in seconds. The assembly debates policy with live economic simulations, running on the Antikythera grid. Philosophy adapts. Stoics develop cognitive behavioral algorithms. Epicureans optimize happiness with data. Socrates still questions everything, now with terabytes of evidence. Science accelerates. Calculus, optics, thermodynamics, early chemistry, all centuries ahead. Trade explodes. A merchant in Massalia checks grain prices in Alexandria in real time. Medicine adopts statistical epidemiology. Plagues are contained before they spread. Yet the Greeks, guided by their own wisdom, debate the dangers. Plato warns of shadows on the cave wall, becoming indistinguishable from reality. Aristotle insists on empirical ethics for machine use. They build safeguards, no unchecked automation without human oversight. Sustainability becomes doctrine, solar and steam preferred over deforestation. The collision of Hellenistic philosophy and silicon circuitry doesn't create utopia. It creates something better, a civilization that values both reason and wonder, both progress and restraint. So what if ancient Greece had modern technology? The Antikythera becomes the ancestor of the internet. Steam, triremes, and solar mirrors forge an early Mediterranean superpower. Bronze spears give way to automated precision. And the foundations of Western civilization are laid, not on blood-soaked battlefields, but on the marriage of timeless human genius and cutting-edge tools. We might have reached the Enlightenment in the 3rd century BCE. We might have landed on the moon before Christ. But the real lesson is simpler and more powerful. The spark of innovation has always lived in the human mind. Give that mind the right tools, and history doesn't just accelerate, it transforms. The next time you look at your phone, remember, somewhere in an alternate Aegean, Archimedes is smiling.